Hello, everybody. This is Miss Corn, and we're here today for another great meeting.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, I should take off the sound on my other computer, my support, my support computer, where I'm gonna be looking at the chat. Anyway, we're over here for another meeting, and the purpose of these meetings is teamwork, working together so we can get ready and prepare for next year. We're here to learn and reflect, share best practices, share ideas, and we're here to get ready to be prepared to teach. And most of all, we're here because of the kids, because we love the kids. And that's what we do on our vacation. We're still on vacation and we're still working and trying to learn more. And the norms for us is we're here to share, learn, and care. And the second norm is let's keep it positive and let's try to find solutions and inspiration. And today I'm here so we can talk about Google Classroom and see if it's good to be used in our virtual classrooms when we start the year. And with me today, I have my good friend Deborah, and that will be talking to us about it. And again, Deborah does not represent the company. She is not, paid to do this. She's not a representative. She's a teacher, just like me, trying to help other teachers, trying to learn more from each other. So in any part of this presentation, if you'd like to come up and share your experience with the program, if you have done it, then you feel free to come up. So without any more delays, here is Deborah. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, we're going to talk about Google Classroom today. And Google Classroom is a huge platform. So same with what we talked about in one of our previous trainings is that start small and have fun. Play with it. Don't be afraid of it. You're not going to break it. So there's tons of people who can help you. Worldwide, there's lots of other YouTube things that you can watch. So I'm just going to talk today really basic to get you started and how to set up a Google Classroom. And then we can kind of talk about ways that you might be able to use that with your kids. So again, I'm Deborah Barnes and I teach in Oregon. Most of my teaching experience, this will be my 15th year. Oh my gosh. And but most of it's been in Arizona. And the last 3 or 4 have been primarily on Indian reservations and with tribal kids. So it can be used with anyone in anywhere. You just need an internet connection. So let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen, and one of the things about it is that if you've got questions, type them in the chat, and Ms. Corn will interrupt me because I can't see any of you or the chat while I'm talking. So here we go.
So let me just say hello. There's some people here in the chat.
Yay.
There's joining us. Hello, everybody on the chat. And if by any chance I miss a question, repeat the question if it comes up, because sometimes I'm so trying to learn from Deborah that I'm looking and trying to figure this out. So repeat the question if I miss. Yeah, everybody's welcome here. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to talk on the chat. And if you have something that to add, perhaps you use it in a different way. Perhaps you have more ideas, because I'm sure Deborah would love to also get some ideas. This is teamwork, looking and learning from each other. People think differently, they do things differently, and it's great to see what other people are doing. So if you have any of that, you can type on the chat. If you want to come up on the screen later on, you're welcome to come up on the screen. This is open for us to to talk and chat. So just let me know. Just say, hey, Ms. Corn, I want to come up, and I'll send the link so we can talk about teaching and the program. We won't be talking about any other kinds of chats today. Anyway, so go ahead, Deborah. So that was that.
I try to make it a little bit relatable to everyone. I teach 5th grade now, but I've taught everything from kindergarten to 6th grade, and gifted kids are my background. So ask me questions that you've got. So, all right, I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
Okay, so Google Classroom is obviously a Google product. And so we have a couple different ways that we can work in that. And when you log into your Google account, over here, this little 9-grid square, a lot of tech people call it a waffle. Okay, so you click on the waffle and Classroom is one of your options. Okay, so when you click on Classroom, then it will either bring up, these are all the classes that I'm involved in. Our technology teacher at our schools, this is all for virtual learning, set up something for my 5th grade students. Our PE teacher set up her own classroom. This is a class that I'm a student in, so we're gonna look a little bit in there so you get both sides. And then this is my own classroom. I can't personally take you into that one. There's too many names, first and last names in that. So for confidentiality reasons, I'm probably not gonna go in there except for one specific page. So we'll kind of see how that works. But this plus sign up here is where you can create or join a class. So when you click on that, you get those choices. If someone else has started a class that you are being invited to, then when you say join class, then it's going to ask you for the class code. This is also the code that you can give to students if they're struggling getting in. But what happens when you set up a classroom is that you're going to enter all of your students' email addresses, and then it will send them an invitation automatically. So we're going to create a class. And we're going to call it...
Oh, Deborah, Cheryl is saying a little slower for note takers.
Okay.
So, Cheryl, okay, so... so go a little slower.
Thank you. Nope, that's perfect. Thank you. I get excited. I start talking faster.
And
okay.
Cheryl, just so you know, this this whole broadcast will be put back online. So anytime you want to come back and revisit and pause through things, you'll be welcome to do that too. So that's another thing that. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to write everything, because you can always refer back. It's going to be saved. So just so you know. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. All right. So we clicked on the little plus sign up in the top right corner, and I've named my class. I don't have to do anything else, but that's primarily because I'm elementary. If you are a high school teacher, you might want to put what section, maybe what period, what subject you teach, even what room the kids are in, because maybe you move rooms for different classes. So that's a possibility. And so you have the option to fill all those in, but the only one I use is the first one. And then I hit create. And it's going to think for a minute, and it's going to set us up with our own little box, and it's going to take me right in. And Google Classroom saw my title that said technology and automatically gave me computers. So it will try to pull from your title to try to give you a theme. But if you, let me just go back to all my classes here. But if you noticed, my personal classroom for my students is called the Barnes Beehive, and there's a hive behind it. Google did not do that. So you do have the option to change that header. And I know that both Ms. Korn and I are part of a Bitmoji group on Facebook, and there's a big push to Bitmojify or...
I almost had a Bitmoji background today. Almost. I almost had a Bitmoji background, but I didn't have time to set that up. But that will be in the future.
Yeah. So you can change your header. Just know that the headers for Google Classroom are very dark. So no matter how bright you make your picture, there is a filter over it that you cannot remove. And so the pictures will always be a little bit darker. And I think that's really just to help the text that they put on it. So anyway, you can't really fix that. So This training today, we're going to break it up into 4 parts, and they are right here at the top of the screen. There's stream, classwork, people, and grades. And we're going to start with stream. Okay. And one of the things, it automatically takes you to stream. So stream is like Facebook almost, but there are some things you're going to want to do to it to make your life a little bit simpler, because it can get really cluttered and really overwhelming. So up here in this top right corner, this little cog wheel is your settings. And really important to always remember that you can go here. So your class settings now can be changed. So if you wanted to change the name of your class, you can do that. If after you set up your classroom, you decided that now you would like to add those descriptions and sections and subjects, you can change all of that. But if you scroll down in general, it says stream and it says students can post and comment. So this is personal choice, but I turn it off. I don't want them commenting in the stream. It just makes a lot of mess. I would rather, once we get into classwork, you'll see where they can comment. So I put only the teachers can. And then classwork on the stream, when you post an assignment, you can have it show up on the stream, but again, it makes it really cluttered. So hide notifications. That's what you're going to want to do. It just keeps it very clean. So we're going to hide those notifications. If you are going to be using Google Meet instead of Zoom, they now allow, Classroom has, you can generate a Meet link and it will show up at the top in that header of your class. So you can do that. You can have it visible to students or not. So if you don't want them to be able to see the link or access the link, you can turn it on and off as often as you would like. Okay. And then we'll talk about grading later. There's really nothing that you need to manipulate on this screen, at least that I've come across. So I'm going to save my changes. And so my stream doesn't look any different right now, but it does look very different if you've got a big mess. So I'm going to take you into my school class, and what I'm going to show you is that it always defaults to stream. And this is me just showing all of my assignments, and I don't like that. You know, I just want those announcements. And so I've got students that have commented in here, and I don't need any of that stuff. And so I can take all of that off by turning off and hiding all of that. So if I click in settings just like we did, and I do have a description, I show that I'm 5th grade and what school I'm at. But I had condensed notifications, so I'm going to hide all of those. And I said students can comment. I'm going to turn that part off, and I'm going to save it again. So the same steps I just did on the other one are now here. So that's kind of how that works. And to get back to your classrooms, you just click on this little 3 bars over on the left, and it will take you back out and take you to all of the classes that you are a teacher in. So our technology teacher, she invited me to be a co-teacher. Same with PE, so that I could see what my kids were doing. So if I go back to our technology page, if you want to make an announcement, you're going to type in this box that just said share and something to share with the class. So if I say, oh, we're going to have fun on this Thursday, then I can post that. I can type a ton of announcements, and it says I can schedule them. So it will work with you so that they don't go out all to everyone. I can save it as a draft. Maybe I don't really like it and I want to work on it later. The other thing that I can do is up here for all students, I can change that. I don't have any kids in this class, so that's my only option. But once you have kids logged in here, then you can just send the announcement to certain students. So you're able to differentiate. Maybe a reminder, don't forget we've got group tomorrow, or your assignments are going to be due on Friday, don't forget. Then you can add that. You can just send it to certain students. You don't have to send it to all, which is pretty cool. And then the add button, you can add something from Google Drive. You can attach a document or a slide. You can send them to a link that you want them to work on. You can attach some other file from your computer, or you can have them watch a YouTube video. So I did do a lot of announcements, and YouTube videos were kind of the cool thing to be able to show them. So what you do is when you click on YouTube, it gives you just this blank space. So I have to go to YouTube. So I already found the video I want. I love Draw Every Day with JJK. He's an artist and illustrator for children's books, and he shows you how to draw all of his characters. So it's kind of cool. So I go here and I copy that link from the URL. I go back and I paste it in the bar, click search, and then that video comes up. I have to click on that box, and then the add button is now available. So I click on the add button, and now it is here. It tells me how long the video is if I forgot to look before, and then I am able to post that content. And so it tells me that the post is created and that the video is available. Okay, so that's really Stream. Stream is really just for announcements. Okay, this is a great place for you to post things about digital citizenship. If you need them to watch some videos before you get started to set your norms. But they do stack on top of each other. So the oldest will start to scroll to the bottom. And so these three dots over here, in England, they call them the traffic lights, but we just seem to call them three dots. That is probably one of the most important tools to remember across all Google products is the three dots. So there will always be help there. You can move your announcements to the top. So if you have one that you want to keep at the top, then you're going to just keep moving it up. You can delete your post, you can edit it, you can copy your link. All of those options are there for you. Okay. Once you've got a few in there, you can move them around a little bit, but the oldest does sort all the way to the bottom, and the new ones will always stack on top. Remember, just no notifications. It keeps it clutter-free. So we're going to move on to Classwork. So at the top, these are like tabs. So Classwork is your next tab, and you do have a couple options. You've got your link for Meet. If you click on Google Calendar, it will take you to Google Calendar. And Class Drive folder, when you start your own classroom in Google Classroom, it automatically puts a folder in your Google Drive. And then when students turn in assignments, they automatically go to that folder. So it's a really nice tool. If you're looking for something, everything's going to be in that Class Drive folder. But to create an assignment, you're going to click the Create button. Now here's where you have some personal choice. You have some options about how you set up your classwork. For me, the way I set mine up is I sorted mine by whether they were ELA topics or English language arts, or if it was math, or if it was science, or if it was a social studies assignment. Maybe I had I did have an art topic, and that's at the bottom of this little drop-down menu. And the reason topics are important is because once you start assigning assignments, they just all fall into this giant bucket. And creating a topic will help sort and organize them. So when you make an assignment, you put a label. It's kind of like labeling it. So, oh, well, this is a math assignment. And then kids can go to your math section or your reading section. Now, other teachers have put them in as weeks. So if they can create, so if I click on topic, I can name it whatever I want. So some teachers, and I thought this was really cool, and I might actually start this next year, is they put week 1 and then they put the dates that it would be there. So we don't start until September. So it might be that I put September 8th, and then that's going to go until, I think that week it's the 11th, but let's see, until 9, let's say 12. And then I can say add. Now, when I put assignments into my classwork, then this is one of my choices. So we again are going to click on create, and I'm going to create an assignment. I need to title it. So math workbook. Oh, here we'll go. Textbook. Math textbook, page 75. And then in the instructions, you don't have to type instructions. You can just put everything in the title if you want. But you can put instructions in there, and you can say, please complete numbers 1 through 25, odd only. Okay. And you can put what lesson it is. You know, if you, it's lesson 5. So however you want to title it and put your instructions, that's up to you. You can add things. So you can attach something that the kids can type into. You can add a video. This is the same as what we saw earlier with announcements. I use a program called Khan Academy for almost all of my math. And so again, if you click on YouTube, it's going to take you here. And then you would have to go out, and I can put in Khan Academy, and that took me out. Hold on. Khan Academy videos, math, and I can sort them by grade. And maybe the beauty of algebra, that just sounds so lovely. And so maybe that's the one that I want. And so I'm going to wait for it to come in, and here it is. And up here at the top, it has copy link. So I'm just going to click on that. And I'm gonna not play it. And so I've copied my link, okay? And so now I'm gonna take it in here, and I'm going to post it. I'm gonna search, and here it is. So I'm gonna select it, and I'm gonna add it. And now my students can watch a video that's going to help them with that assignment. It doesn't always have to be me. So I know that for my district, we are allowed to record our Zoom meetings and our Google Meet. And so I attach those as well, so that if the kid missed my class and missed my instruction, then they have the opportunity to watch that lesson from me. And I also attach other videos. So when I do that, the ad would be from my Google Drive, and I have all the videos in Google Drive. So they would be able to have that.
That's really nice. You can have this playback of your lesson, and also I have a question about the document that they can type in, Deborah. So any document you put in would turn into something that they could type their answers, or you have to change it in some way?
Unfortunately, you do have to do a few things to it. So and maybe that would be something that we could do later. But that is using Google Slides. And you can take any worksheet and take a picture of it, and then put it on a Google slide, and then you add text boxes to where you want their answers to go, and then you add it here, and then every student would get their own copy, and they could put the answers on that worksheet.
And then they post it back there, or you would already. see
Yes,
it.
and I'll show you the turn-in spot here in just a second. But yes,
No,
so
that's
there's a little bit more that happens with that.
no, but it's good for, not my grade because I teach ETK, they wouldn't be doing that, but the other grades, and that would be very interesting. They're very
Right.
interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you.
So again, assignments can be differentiated. Whew, so exciting.
Yeah.
So maybe this lesson is not for all of my students. So again, up here at the top on the right, it says all students. If I had students in this class, when I clicked on it, underneath where it says all students, it would have a list of every student that's in my classroom. And I would be able to go and sort and pick which kids get this assignment. So my whole classroom is always sorted by reading group and by math group, because I do guided reading and guided math. And I do that on Zoom. So I can choose which kids get this assignment. What that also does is that only the students that are doing this assignment get the video that they're in the class that they attended. So not everybody is going to watch the video with Johnny in it. Johnny and his group of 5 are going to be able to watch that video, but not the whole class. So that's really helpful. You can assign it points, or you can say it's ungraded. Sometimes I just put stuff out and I don't grade that. So maybe the assignment is that the kids need to watch an art video or do some others like science experiment, but I'm not going to grade that because I'm not sure if every child has the materials at home. So I don't want to grade that. And for a long time, when quarantine started for us, we weren't allowed to grade. And so everything was ungraded. So you have that choice. You can change the point total. You can make it, however many points you want. If they're only doing 14, 15 questions, then, maybe that's all you want to give them. Or maybe you want it to be all, or maybe it's just easier to always grade everything out of 100. So you have your percent scale, whatever you want to do as a teacher is fine. You do not have to assign it a due date. It can be forever open. Or you can say, oh, yeah, no, I want this due. It will always default to the next day. So today is the 25th, and it's going to default to the 26th. So maybe I want this to be due in a week. So I click on my little arrow to get to July, and then I say, okay, well, the 2nd is next Thursday, so your assignment is due here. Time is optional. You can set it for midnight. I know a lot of college courses that you take online are always like 11:59 it's due. You can do that if you want. That's up to you. And then here's the important part, topic. Topic is where you choose the week that the assignment is in. And so I want to assign it to week 1. I can give it a rubric. There is that option to have a rubric in there. You can create a rubric. You can import a rubric. If you've never used Rubistar, it's Rubistar, and I don't remember what the dot whatever is, but you can look that up online, and it's a great creation tool for rubrics. I haven't ever created them in here, so I don't really know that part. So, and I don't know what the originality report is either. But you have a learn more, so if you want to know more, you can click on it. And then up here at the top right corner, it says assign, and I have a drop-down box. So I can assign it right now. I can schedule it to be emailed to my kids later. I can save a draft, or I can just discard this and be like, I did not want to do this. But I'm going to assign it. So it thinks about it for a minute. It's assigning it, and now it's here. So now I'm in the Classwork tab still, and here's my topic. And now this assignment is under that topic. Okay. So that is available. When you click on it, it's going to tell you how many kids you assigned it to. And that means how many students that you chose on the student list, or if you picked all students. I had 24 kids in my class, so this would have said 24. And then when they turn it in, then there will be this will start to add up. again, the 3 dots, you can edit your post. You can delete it. You can copy it. Maybe you want to use it again in another subject. I don't know. So you can copy that if you want. And then you can also view the assignment, which will open it up, show you again how many you assigned it to. All the kids as they start to, I wish I could show you this, but I can't because I have names on mine. But when you assign it, it'll have these little thumbnails all the way across of everybody's name. And it will tell you if they've turned it in, if it's late, if it's missing, all these different statuses. So you can sort by last name or by first name in this assignment. And as you check kids' work, you can also send it back if it's not what you want it to be.
Is there with comments?
There is a place for comments once there is an assignment. So,
like for instance, for you to give feedback on their work.
Yeah. Yes. And I don't know how to do that without getting into a kid's name. So there is a way, and I can just show you in a document. So I can show you that in just a minute because it's actually. It's got a really cool feature in here, which is private comments. So you can talk with just that student, which makes it really great. So there's an area that you can click on their work and it will,
great.
Yeah.
That's great feature.
Right. So let's see. Google Calendar is pretty neat because it will show for the student, it will show their calendar. And mine's going to have a whole bunch of stuff on it. But so here you'll see that, whoa. So right down here at the bottom, it shows, it highlights today. Blue dot is always for the day. And then next week is when that assignment's due. So it will put it on the calendar that they have an assignment.
That's very nice because it's organized for them to see.
Yeah, that part works out great. So they can get to that part. There is a really neat option, and without having a student, like I said, it makes it a little bit challenging, but I did this I just practiced this the other day. I learned this awesome tech tool a couple weeks ago, and it is called Mote, M-O-T-E. It is an extension for Google. So it looks like this little purple M up on my extension bar, and it allows you to add voice comments. Voice comments. So excited. So in a document, I'm just going to show it to you on a document because it'll work the same in Google Classroom. Sorry, it's got to load here.
It's okay, but that's
yes. Okay, so this was a draft of a letter I was going to send to my students. Okay, and yeah, okay, and so yesterday I was practicing. So what it does is it allows you to be able to highlight something and then add a comment just like you could regularly. So in any Google product, when you are in here, you have the option to comment. So that's this little icon. It looks like a speech square with a plus in it, and it says add comment. Okay. But you can also, let's see, it says there is also a summer learning packet. Oh, that sounds boring. So I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to, now my comment box is down here. because I've highlighted something in the text. So I'm going to click on that box, and I have a couple choices. I can just type my comment in here. I don't have to, I can have it just be text. Or because I have that Mote extension, I now have this purple circle in my box. So I am able to click on that, and it right away starts recording, and I can give my comment. This sentence is horrible. Summer learning sounds boring. So then I'm going to say done. Okay.
Say it like that.
And it thinks for a minute, and then it gives you this URL bar, and you can copy it and paste it, and it will take you to the Mote website, and you can listen to it here. Okay. Or if your students have Mote on their computer, so I'm going to assume that a lot of districts are going to start adding this as a mandatory extension when they push out their Google products. But what it does is when you say comment, it translates it for you, the comment, and it has a playback, so I can push play. And it plays back what you said. You can also click this little edit button in the bottom right, and you can change. Okay. And you can change what this says, and you can change the text. Okay. You can also change the transcription to just say feedback. And what it does is it just changes this. And it doesn't change what your voice comment said. So if you don't want it to be in text and you don't want the transcription to be there, it doesn't have to be. Okay.
Deborah, question
yes.
about, is there a language translator? Cheryl is asking this question.
There is. You have to do that on the Mote, on your Mote page. But I think they have like 35 languages. So when you go to, if you just look up Mote voice comments, it will take you to this page, and then there's support, and there's an educator link, there's adding. But yes, they do have it voice translated, but I don't think that you can change it when you're giving them. I think it defaults to English, and I can't edit it and then change the language. I don't think, no. It just gives me the option to download it to my computer.
Okay,
so,
and you done? I'm sorry. One more thing, another comment that came about is Miss Pradell is back. Welcome back, Miss Pradell. She's saying that the calendar also goes to parents' phones, so we know when assignments are due. Wow. She's talking about the calendar that you mentioned before, and how it goes to parents' phones, and then parents know when assignments are due. That's a really good feature, right?
And you can do that because you can add parents. So that again, that's like a personal choice. But with how young your students are, then that's probably going to be a better thing. That you're going to want parents to be included.
Yeah, that's good comment. Okay, great. Thank you so much, guys, for asking questions. And
yeah, so if this was an assignment, then I would be able to do all of this. You can still comment on an assignment without Mote. It just won't be voice. So if I highlight this and click on the comment, if I don't want it to be a voice and I just want to start typing, then I can just type it in there, and this is what a normal comment would look like. But if I want to use voice, which is great for young students, your non-readers. That's really helpful. So they always have that option as well.
Yes, and I definitely like to add that, when we give assignments, I think it's very important to give feedback, because if we spend too long not giving feedback, children or students, I should say, end up turning in less and less assignments. Just like as adults, we like to know what's going on. We recently took a class and I'm doing all these assignments, and I'm like, what, is the moderator looking at this? Is he going to give me some feedback? Am I going the right way?
Right.
So you know how important it is for us. So for the students, it's even more important. So yeah, have to be careful how much you're going to assign, because you will be, if you're not grading, at least you're putting some feedback, and hopefully, some constructive feedback and some praise, before you get into some of the hard feedback, because everybody likes to know that there's something there that's good, and then you go into, perhaps some constructive, feedback kind of thing, like the 2 stars and a wish. You kind of give them 2 good things, and then I wish you would have done this, da da da. So just a little parenthesis.
Absolutely.
That's it.
So let's see. Then there is also, check my notes here. All right, so that's classwork. You can have as many topics as you want. There's no limit on that. And then for people, this is where you can invite other teachers. So you can type in their email, type in their name. Because Google Classroom and part of the G Suite is assigned to your school or district, then typing in their name should go right to your email and contact list and be able to pull them up. And so you can invite teachers to be co-teachers in your class. That does mean that they have access to your classroom. So they can comment, they can assign, they can do all of that. But we had an agreement at my school that you wouldn't post assignments on somebody else's classroom unless they asked you to. It was, for me, it was really just kind of an accountability piece that I wanted to make sure my kids were participating in their technology class and that they were participating in their PE. And so I wanted to be part of those classes just so I could check on them, because I gave points for participation. So, and then when you have students, they will all be listed here. So I don't know if your kids get an email address right away, but they do have to have something. So because it's G Suite, everybody should have an email address, no matter how young they are, that they have access to. So that's just one way. Usually you can't invite someone out of your network. So you can't put parents here because their email address is not going to be within your school district website and email preferences, but you can give parents their student logon access, especially for the younger kids, so that they can get in. Okay. And then grading, super personal preferences, but you can, I don't have any grades in here, so, and I only have that one assignment. So, but once you start grading, it will it'll put a whole grid in here. And I don't know, let me see. Okay, so here it looks like this. I don't know if we can see it big enough, but it'll put all of the kids' names. It'll give you a current overall grade, and then each assignment is one of these little boxes. And I'm sorry it's so small, but it just has a number. So if you said that your assignment was worth 25 points or 100 points, it's going to have a blank slash and then however many points you assigned it if it's turned in and you haven't graded it yet. Or it's just going to show a number in black if you did grade it and gave it a point value. So that's kind of how that shows up for you and looks. So grades, I think in some places will translate to, like, you can get them to export into other things, but I don't know how to do that. But there is a grade transfer extension, and you just have to look that part up to be able to have it transfer over into other grade programs. Scoring is optional. Don't forget you have a settings box up here. And this, again, takes you to the spot where you can do grade calculations. You can choose a grading system. So like I just said, you can, it does send over your stuff. This is all teacher tools and classroom help for you on how to do assignments, and all of that is all up in that, that little cogwheel. And it took me out of my Google Classroom. So if you look up at the top of my tabs, I clicked on this learn more, and it sent me out to Google Classroom help, and I have all of this help. I have all these things that I can go through and look at, and related articles and everything that I could need, it takes me to. So Google has a lot of helpful hints. It has a lot of different things in here. I do know that there is in People, there's some way to be able to do Guardian summaries, and they choose what they get notified about. And but I haven't ever done that. So maybe once there are kids in here, then it offers that option. But that would definitely be in the Google Help, Classroom Help box would be able to have that. So
it's really neat to know that there's all this help available, and other things you can go into. Now, Deborah, just a quick question here on, because I'm thinking about assignments and I'm thinking about younger kids. And would there be a way that they could, like, let's say they do a drawing or something for them to input into this system? Because, they will not be doing, typing and all that other stuff because they're so young.
Well, your assignment could be in Google Draw. Okay, so here, let's see. So if we have classwork, so I'm gonna come out here, and I'm going to go to Google Drawing, and and I'm going to wait for it to load. Okay, and I'm going to title it a cat drawing. Okay, and so I am going to I can either put directions on this page, or I can put them on the instructions, or I can do both. So draw a picture of a cat. Okay, maybe you want them to do letters, whichever. So I'm going to put that on there. I can make this as creative or boring as I want. So that's totally up to you. And so now I'm going to go into my assignment, and I'm going to create an assignment, and I'm going to put cat drawing, and I'm going to add. So now I'm going to add from Google Drive, and it's got all these categories of upload, if I want it from my computer or my drive, shared, but it's in recent because I just did it. So I'm going to click on that and then add it. And so now it's here. My Google Drawing is here. And now this is an important part because it says students can view file. Well, we want to make a copy for each student. And what that does is it's so not everybody's drawing on the same piece of paper. Okay, you want them to have their own. So you make a copy for each student, and then you're going to come over here and decide if you want all kids to do it, how much points, if there's a due date, if there's a topic. And I go, oh, wait, this is art and I don't have a topic. Well, it gives me create topic right here. So I can immediately just put art and say, okay, that's the topic I want it to use. Oh, this is in the way. Okay, so I want to, why didn't that work? Create a topic. Art. I don't know. And then I can assign that to my students. So it's thinking, it's going to take me out. It's going to, now I've got my art topic. It says cat drawing. And now when I open, here, let me see, maybe I can assign myself. Let's go to people. Well, I don't know if it'll let me because I'm out of network. So, oh, maybe, look at that. Nope. I cannot invite myself because I am not in the network. So I would have to invite someone from my school district. So anyway, once you get into once the student opens this assignment, they're going to get their own drawing. So when they open their assignment and they click on cat drawing, they're going to get this. It's going to automatically put their name up here in the rename category so that you know that it's theirs.
Oh, that's great.
And then it's going to put it in your in the folder for your classroom. So up here, class drive folder, it's going to open your Google Drive, and it's going to be in your drive in Google Classroom. And then this is my class, and here is my assignment. And when I open that, if whatever students have turned it in, it'll all be here with their name on it. It'll be in this spot.
That's excellent.
Okay.
Now, would there be a place where they could upload a picture? I'm just kind of at this point making comparison between, this program and another program, and seeing, how it compares with all the features. Now, is there a place where they could add maybe a picture that they took of some?
Yes. So I'm going to go into this virtual teaching classroom because this is where I'm a student, so I can kind of show you, but we don't have assignments, so we'll see how it works. But so this is one of my teachers, and she put an announcement in because she does a publication called The First Line that her high school students use. So she was able to upload that. But if I wanted to be able to share something with my class, let's see if there's any work. Oh, there's work. Okay, so here's, I don't know if there's actually any assignments in here. So so as a student, I came in, I looked at my classwork, and nothing's graded. So grading is not on here. But it says view assignment. So this is my work, okay? And it does give me a warning that says anything can be seen by my teacher. So here is what the slides that she wants me to review, okay? And I can add. So as a student, this was one of the options I gave to my kids because they had a really hard time working in Google Slides, which is where my worksheets were, because some of them weren't on laptops, some of them were on tablets, and they didn't have G Suites, and it was a whole mess at the beginning. So I told them to take a picture of their work with their phone or their parents' phone and upload it into here. And so they could add, and now I can add a file. I can add a picture. I could create my own document and submit that instead. Okay. And then when I mark it as done, then that's turning it in. That lets the teacher know that I've completed it and it's in there. This box right here is the private comments that I was talking about. So I'm able to type in here or use Mote, and it's going to send a comment just to my teacher, and my teacher can talk just to me. If I put comments over here under class comments, I can still use Mote and I can still do verbal comment, but my whole class is going to see it. But private comments are just between the teacher and the student.
Now, Deborah, this is just me trying to be, like, sometimes students might be, how would I put it, like irreverent, or try to
Mhm.
send a comment that's inappropriate. How would that work? you know, I'm just thinking older kids, not my kids, because they're like so sweet. But that could happen. So
Um,
then, how does that?
that was in the options. So like, if I go back to my own classroom, because that's where I can manipulate it, and I go to
Would the
settings.
comment go first to the teacher to kind of maybe filter, or kind of see if it's
Yes.
appropriate, or how does that go?
Yes, typically it's all in there that if you have students can comment, this is for stream. So, but yes, there is a way for you to be able to go in and take them off. You can also delete any comment as soon as it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to leave those there.
But you wouldn't have an option that the teacher listens to everything first and then goes to students, right?
I thought there was an option in here. So, if
And
somebody's
again, I know
watching
that
right
you
now, then
not know everything. I'm just curious about that, and because that would
yeah.
be a good feature, just to the teacher would be the first one to filter the information, and then
Right. And this only seems to be in stream. So I don't, yeah, no, I'm not sure.
okay. So just people watching, they should see
Yeah.
that before opening up the option of um,
Yeah. I don't see where you can do that, but I'm sure that there's an option.
And there's another question coming in right now, Deborah, from Cheryl. Thank you, Cheryl. She's saying, can you easily record and send videos, and up to how many minutes?
So you would use whatever video tool you want. Google Meet works best because it automatically saves a copy of your video to your Google Drive. But I use Zoom, and so I just record in Zoom, and then I upload my Zoom video to my Drive, and then I just add them in. So like for me, if you create an assignment, you can also just say material. Material is not an assignment. It doesn't get graded over here. You'll see it doesn't have a grading. It doesn't have a due date. It's just you giving out information. And so if I type this and I just put math video and I assign the topic of the week, I can add from Google Drive. I have videos. So if I go to my Drive, I'll see if I remember where I put them. So Meet recordings automatically make their own folder, and they will all go into that. I made my own Zoom folder, and so these are all the videos that I made with my students, and I can post all of those. The other thing that I did is that I got permission from some publishers to be able to read their books online. You have to be careful of copyright laws. So I have, I think it's in school. Yeah, so I have a book called Race to the Sun, and I read that on Zoom, and then I uploaded it. So I could click on that, and I can then add it to my assignment. It's not a math video, it's a reading video, so I can go back up and I can change. And this is me reading a story. I did a Zoom all by myself. Or you can, I use my iPhone. I just record video, and then I can email that to myself. Was easier to then upload it on my computer. And then you can post it. And once, because it was material, now it's here. It looks a little bit different. It's got this little page with a bookmark tag on it, and there's no assignment there. It's just view material, and they can click on the video, and the video will open, and they can watch that.
And it could be as you want, right? There's no time limit in that case.
Zoom has unlimited if you have less than 3 people in your meeting, unless you pay for it. You can pay for unlimited. or you have 40 minutes. So if you read for, a 30-minute time and then stop your video. But Google Meet, I don't think has a limit on it because it's all part of your G Suite subscription that the district pays for. So that should just be a general amount. And you can, and then those videos are automatically saved to your Drive, which makes it a lot easier. You don't have to do the whole upload to Drive like you do if you use Zoom. So,
yeah, so hopefully that answered the questions. Anybody has any more questions at this point before we'll see? You can, welcome to be posting in the chat. Those are great questions. I'm really learning a lot from it. Wow, they have a lot of great features.
Okay, so if you go, I keep finding stuff. Okay, so if you are in a class or you have your list of classes and you click over on the little 3 lines over on this left-hand side, it lists all of your classrooms that you're part of, and then there's a settings at the very bottom, and you can change your picture. So, but I'm the Barnes Beehive, so that's why there's a bee. And this is another important spot, and I forgot how to get here. So this is what's going to answer your question, Ms. Korn, about comments. So 1, it says receive email notifications. Some teachers love to get email notifications so that they know when Johnny turned in his work, because they'll get an email that says Johnny turned in his, and then it'll name the assignment. I do not like email notifications. I get way too many emails. So I would prefer just to go into Classroom and look myself. So you can turn those off and not receive them, or you can go through and figure out what you want. So
laughing because only teachers would like to have emails coming any time of day and night and have all this time of their own life. We just love that stuff. We live for this job. It's so great. I love it.
So this is telling you want to receive email notifications when someone comments on your post, when comments mention you, when there are private comments on work. And this one I would say yes, because you have to go into everybody's assignment to see if they posted a comment, if it's a private comment. So this one I would keep on because that one's an important one. But classes that you are enrolled in, or if you are a co-teacher, I do not want work and posts from teachers. I can go look at their stuff myself. So that I turned that off. Returned work and grades from teachers, no. Invitation to join classes as a student, yeah, I had that because we had some teachers, like I just showed you, that I was the student. So that was our assistant principal, and she invited me as a student. So you're going to say yes. Due date reminders, you can get an email about that. I don't need that. I'm the one who assigned the due date. I don't need a reminder. But then classes that you teach, late submissions of student work. Do you want an email when a kid turns something in late? When they've resubmitted something? When you have invitations to co-teach, or you've scheduled a published post or failed a post, you can decide on that. And then class notifications, you can turn on or off email for specific classes. So I only, because I hadn't gone in here for a while, so I don't want to get them from my technology teacher, and I don't want to get them from this one I just set up. So you don't have to have class notifications for those either. So, and then you can manage your password, security options, and other services all in here as well. So I guess it didn't have the spot that I was expecting, but this bar is always there for you if you need that as well. So of what you're in. And then archived classes at the end, when you're done, you can archive your class and it'll hold it here. So this Google Classroom help was one I was looking at yesterday, and it's the only archived one that I have. So these are all the classes that I'm a part of. But you click on the 3 dots, you can edit it, copy it, archive it. The other kind of the last thing that I'm going to share is that we had a second grade teacher this last year, and she made a Google Classroom for each subject. She thought it would be easier for her students to, when they knew that they were going to be attending her reading Zoom meeting, that they went into their reading class. So she would have titled this reading, and this one would have been math and science and social studies and art and PE. So she had 6 or 8 classes, and her kids knew that when it was time for math, they clicked into the math classroom. So there wasn't confusion about what assignments were in which places, but it did mean that her kids at the very beginning had to join 6 different classrooms. So again, it's personal preference as to how you're going to want to set that up. If you teach middle school or high school, or kids move classrooms, you're probably going to want a different classroom like I have here for each of your different groups or subjects. But for me, I had elementary kids. I had them all day long. I had one classroom for all of my students. And during distance learning, mine says 22 students. I had 24, but I had 2 students that I did not connect with during distance learning. And so it's only the kids that have accepted your invitation and have actually logged in that you'll see here and that you can assign things to. I couldn't give them work through Google Classroom because they had never joined. So that's kind of how that is. These little icons at the bottom, it's just a quick link to open Gradebook and to open the folder in Google Drive. But and then on the one I'm a student on, I can open my work. So anything I have assigned. So that's a quick tip for kids, is that theirs will look like this one. There is a website called Shake Up Learning. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Shake Up Learning, and her name is Casey Bell, and she is a Google certified trainer, tech wizard, and she has a lot of free stuff on her page. She has a lot of stuff to pay for, but she does have quite a bit of free stuff, and she has a free packet right now that is a Google startup. So it's a teacher's what does Google Classroom look like for teachers, and then a separate PDF file that's Google for students and what they can see. And I made copies of the student one and sent that home with my families so that the parents would know what Google Classroom looked like and what they could do in it and what that expectation was. But it's a free download on her website. So
that's nice. I wonder if I can add the website to the description in case somebody would like to go there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's called Shake Up Learning.
Perhaps you can send it to me later, and then I'll add it when I embellish the description of this broadcast. How about that?
Sure, it's shakeuplearning.com, but I will send it to you.
You know me. I like it very. And so Miss Preda was asking, what's her name for Shake Up?
Her name was Casey Bell. But if you just put Shake Up Learning, it'll come up. But it's Kasey, and her last name is Bell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, I can put it in the description. So this program seems like to have a lot more features than the one we reviewed yesterday. Yesterday we reviewed the Class Dojo. Mm-hmm. And I remember you saying that you use both. So I was just wondering, because this seems like to have, all the features and more than Class Dojo, except that Class Dojo has the cute little monsters and the cute appeal for kids, because I can see how that's a lot more appealing than this particular program.
So I use, so Google has all kinds of extensions. So there's attendance extensions, and there's all kinds of things you can add to it to make that full encompassing. But what Google Classroom doesn't have is just a message bulletin for parents. So I use both because I use Google Classroom for all my schoolwork, classwork information, and I use I use Class Dojo for attendance and points and parent communication. Mm-hmm. I send my newsletter in Class Dojo. I send all kinds of things, but notices for the town or the school district, I put school board notifications on Class Dojo and use it more like a message board kind of thing. If we have special events, I put those up there. If we have dress up days, I put those on Class Dojo, just so that parents have a heads up. So it's not like that morning when the kid's like, wait, I'm supposed to look like Cat in the Hat in 5 minutes, So I put those out for parents, which, like I said yesterday, I really didn't use portfolios very much, but Class Dojo is trying to meet the level that teachers need and they're finding on some other applications. And so that's why now you're able to upload files, and parents can put pictures on there. And I had students submit assignments in Class Dojo. Their parent took a picture and uploaded it to Class Dojo, and I still accepted it, even though it was an assignment in Google Classroom. They were having trouble adding a file.
That in Class Dojo was a little easier.
It was because it's on their phone. It was an app, but Google Classroom is also an app. It is. You can have it on your phone. So there is a way to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I liked the structure of Google Classroom a little bit more. I like the grading option. There are add-ons and all kinds of things that you can go into and make the experience very streamlined and better.
And Cheryl is asking if you have any thoughts on Seesaw, because I guess she really likes that.
I don't have any experience with Seesaw. I know that it was a product that was introduced quite a few years ago at Tech Camp, but it was at the same time Class Dojo was coming out, and I happened to choose that one instead. But I know that most of Phoenix Unified School District uses Seesaw, and I have teachers who absolutely love that. And I think that that's the program that Class Dojo is trying to match the most closely to, with all of their new things, because they're starting to do, there's a worksheet thing that's coming out soon. And I think there are just some options that they're looking for. But Class Dojo, and I don't know, maybe Seesaw has their own, but they really reach out for teachers. I'm a Class Dojo mentor, so I'm on their mentor page on Facebook. And yesterday, one of the developers said, I need kids aged 6 through 10 to help test something for me. Who's got kids? And then all these teachers who have children in those ages are like, oh, my kid would love to help test that. So, they're they reach out, they answer questions right away. We have direct communication with all the developers at Class Dojo. And I almost know them by first name, and I've never met a one in person. So I don't know. But I don't have any experience with Seesaw.
And now I feel that I need to find somebody that knows about Seesaw, because I just recently heard about, and I would like to have, the same thing, like a tour where you understand, somebody that used, that knows, when is a good time to use this, give some suggestions like that, like you did, which was excellent. I mean, I learned so much about Google Classroom today and yesterday on Class Dojo. I mean, I cannot thank you enough, Deborah.
No,
Here's the heart. I cannot
thank you enough. If it's Cheryl's heart, maybe Cheryl wants to present Seesaw.
Yes, Cheryl, you want to present? Let's hook somebody else in.
That's right.
Do you want to present, or do you know somebody? Please contact me. I think we're buddies on Facebook. And let me know, because I think it really helps a lot of people. And like I said before, this broadcast stays on. This broadcast goes all over the world. I have people sometimes they're not commenting on the broadcast, but they are telling me, that they've been seeing it. They contact me. They say, oh, thank you. I'm learning from you. I'm learning new programs. I'm learning new techniques of teaching, how you guys are doing in the US. And I think that's part of our global, communication, this global outreach that we share with other teachers from all over the world and get this information somewhere where they can access. And it all helps because you all contributing to with ideas.
Miss Prudell has two things in the comments. It was not Rubric Star, it was Rubistar, so it's RUBISTAR. Was the rubric site. Cheryl says no way. And Miss Pradell's other question says, that one.
Yeah, she said Google Classroom video assignments uploads take a very long time, so students have to start well before deadline. See, that's good things to know, because then when you telling your students how you're going to work and setting your procedures, you need to tell them, or you have to
right. If they're uploading from Google Drive, it doesn't take as long. So it just depends on what they're starting with, because YouTube and Google are now the same. They're owned by the same people. That tends to go a little bit faster, but because it's the same platform. But I did find that uploading from Zoom to my Drive took a long time, but Drive to Classroom was not. So Google Meet might be a better way for them to record themselves. You can have a meet all by yourself. So
and Google Meet is like a Zoom. Google Meet would be something like a Zoom, pretty much the same.
It's the same. It just doesn't have some features. They're changing it. Boy, Google Meet is trying to keep up with Zoom. Because they didn't allow for you to see all the participants in a grid, but now you can. I think now teachers can mute their kids where you couldn't in the beginning. And there's some different things. Students had a really hard time. When they come in, I have it a set up so that on Zoom, they're automatically muted when they come in. But then kids start talking and they don't realize that they're muted. So teachers have the ability to unmute someone or to mute them. I had a couple students that they never really shared, but they were always not muted. And then they had a 3-year-old sister or brother that would start screaming in the background. And so I could just quickly mute them so that they weren't taking over. And she was so cute because she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about my sister. I rewatched the video and all I can hear is her." And so then the next meeting, she was really conscious about where she set up herself in her house and that she wasn't interrupted as often. And so, it's all learning. It's all good. We all doing it together. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a way to reflect, and it's nice that they can see themselves, see how it's going, and the mute button is your friend. If you see my first broadcast, because I broadcast the first day I started Zoom, and the second day I was doing a vlog. I was gonna do more often, but then I kind of gave up. But you could see that the first day was like, and then the second day I was like, the mute button is your friend, and I felt really bad about doing it, but. There's no other way, and that's a shame because you like to hear that class participation. You like to have that choral of kids when you ask a question. Hey, are you excited about that? You like to hear the from everybody and all that. So it feels like a little bit on the one side. I felt like I'm gonna only me talking, and I like the collaboration. So it's kind of hard. I'm still getting used to that, but again, we're just going to move forward, try our best, get prepared, and the kids deserve it. You know what I mean? They still deserve to have the best education, and we're gonna have to find a way to give it to them, even if it's into their own bedrooms, living rooms. We're just gonna bring it in, no matter what, right?
Absolutely.
Deborah, well, first of all, I want to thank you because I don't know how I would have done this without you. I couldn't. And now I feel so much better about choosing the program I'm going to use. I'm going to go play around with it a little bit. And that's great. That's exactly what I needed. And I hope we helped some other people along the way.
Too.
And you can rest assured that, you helped me a lot. So you got one. You
and there's
saved
a lot of old videos out there. So it works really well. So, and yes, she'll just put littles need headphones. None of my kids had headphones. So, but it is helpful. If they're on their phone, they need the microphone piece as well if they're going to talk. But thanks, I'll pass that on to Ms. Pradell.
Yes, Ms. Pradell saying thank you to both, and thank you, Ms. Pradell. Ms. Pradell has seen every broadcast we've made so far. Thank you so much for supporting. And Cheryl's been here, and Deborah deserves a raise. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'll raise you up. And we'll think about more topics. Well, there's so much to do, to talk about, and I wanted to bring Bitmoji. That's one thing that I love to show and bring and have people show their Bitmoji classrooms. And perhaps I'm going to tap into that group and see if I can get some brave people to come show, because this Bitmoji world is just amazing. And I think the kids are going to love when teachers start bringing that out, and they can click on it. And I get so excited myself about clicking on everything, going everywhere. And it's very exciting. And we need to make this virtual learning exciting, because we're competing with, TV and very well elaborate produced videos, which we don't have because we're just at home with the camera. And
that is a big piece of distance learning. And we need to make sure that our administrators understand, but students should not be given the same workload in distance learning as they would in the classroom. And that is a huge point for trauma-informed instruction and social emotional health, is that they should not be doing the same amount of work. So you should only be planning for, especially for the littles, for, an hour, maybe a day. For my kids for 5th grade, they said 2 hours max. It's definitely more when you get up to high school and middle school, college, all that stuff, that there are different levels. But if you search for hours of online learning for kids, there is a lot of research. But I've said it before, and I've got it all over my own social media stuff, is that we are in a new era, and this has never been done before. So we need to step up as leaders and design education the way that we want it to be. And that is my mission right now, is that there's no one that can tell us how this should look. It's never been done before. And it's different than kids who sign up for online learning. That's a whole different ballgame. This distance learning, where you might have a couple days in the classroom and then a couple days at home, which is what a lot of districts are starting to come out with right now. This is all new, and this is our time to stand up and speak up for our kids and make learning exactly how we want it to look and how we know as professionals it's supposed to look.
Yes, and before Cheryl said that you deserve a medal, and I second that motion. And then she's thanking us. Cheryl's thanking us. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Ms. Pradell is saying that tell her kids' district about all this, because she gets a lot of work. And it's tough, and it's been tough on the parents too, because hey, parents now have to be teachers. They haven't been trained, and now they realize how hard it is, to teach kids. But then again, it's a lot on them. And but hopefully everything will work it out, and things are gonna go back into some normalcy, and we'll figure it out. We're gonna figure out a way. We're just gonna move on, keep it positive, make the best of it, because the kids deserve it, and we're here for the kids.
And we are all in this together, so We are our own support system. So support each other, support teachers, hold each other up. We need everybody we can get.
Yes, and I feel so much better now that I've met, you and all those other people, Cheryl, Miss Bradell here, and all the other people that joined us. People might be watching. I just feel like I'm part of a community that we're trying to do something really neat. So with that, I'm not going to take so much more time of Deborah. Deborah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate. I cannot thank you enough. I hope
My
to see you soon. So let's come up with a topic because I'm gonna miss seeing you.
Well, we might need to do Google Slides so that you guys know how to put some paper onto something that you can work on. So.
Oh, I would love that. I would
Okay.
love that, and then that might tie in with the classroom Bitmoji thing. So
Okay.
yeah, that'll be great.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bring you down here for a sec. And so I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you again, Deborah. This was amazing. Could not have done without you. I feel so much better knowing that I can, ask you questions, that you're there to help. And everybody that came to the chat or watched this video, keep it up. If you have any comments, put it on the comments of this video, and we can, once it goes live later on, you can see it on playback. You can put comments there too. All right. So thank you so much for supporting me, and hope to see you soon with something else exciting. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Bye-bye.